JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 21st of October 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. Now, jumping into the charts. So the first one I want to pick up here is the Shanghai Composite. Now, overall, you can see that, yes, we are still trading above this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March. But from a more of a short-term perspective, we have been drifting here sideways a little bit from around mid-July. The index is kind of moving up and down here a little bit, roughly between the 3,181 territory and the 3,457 zone. So basically what I need to do now is extend the boundaries of that range again, because so far that's the kind of the area where the index continues to move. But if we look at a bit of a from the short-term perspective, even more short-term perspective, basically what I've mentioned, or should I say what I kept mentioning throughout my recent videos, that basically, given the fact that we saw a nice move, a strong move here on the 12th of October, and then a bit of a slight correction to the downside, this move here could be seen as a potential bullish flag. Now, on the 19th of October, we almost saw that happening, but as you can see, the bulls were too weak to kind of to keep the price above this 3,361 territory that I'm going to continue monitoring. And but of course, on all the positive side, the index continues to trade above that 21-day EMA, which, as you can see, acts as a very nice area of support. So in other words, guys, again, I'm still gonna keep an eye on this potential kind of pattern here. Could be a prolonged bullish flag here, but if we do consider this idea, yes, then we need to wait at least for a nice good pop above the 3,361 territory right here. Of course, ideally a daily close could do the trick here for more buyers, and then more of them could be pushing this index further north. Now, at the moment, like I said, keep your eyes on that. In terms of the downside, I still need to see a drop below the 3,280 zone in order to consider a bit of a move here towards the lower bound of this range. Ibex, the Spanish index. Now, yesterday I kind of briefly picked up on this one, but basically what I was saying, that in a way, from around the mid-June here, the index continues to trade within the falling wedge pattern here. Initially it looked like it could be a channel, but unfortunately no, or should I say unfortunately for the bears, no, because the channel would be to the downside. Here instead we do have an opportunity for the bulls building up, and as we know, according to all the TA rules, such patterns, the falling wedges tend to be bullish indication. However, we cannot really talk about the upside until we get a confirmation break. So what we need here is to see a break of this this upper bound of the falling wedge, and then also a push above the 7,024.25 zone right here, marked by the current highest point of October. A nice good pop above this area would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, higher levels could be met. So again, it's quite an interesting one to keep an eye on right now. So let's see how all this is going to play out. But at the moment, yes, the yesterday we saw the index kind of flirting with this upper bound here of this falling wedge. So let's see if today we can actually get a nice push above it. The German index here and the German DAX, you can see that it continued to slide. However, it remained below, above this 12,728 territory. I spoke about this level, and of course, if we want to look at some further declines, then yes, a further drop below that area is required. At the moment, looking at the cash index, the price is currently balancing. It's just slightly above this hurdle. So in a way, if we get a drop below this, then yep, consider a possible move towards the lower side of this rising channel. Now, if this lower side of the rising channel remains intact, then yes, some higher levels again could be considered, but of course we would need to see a nice good strong break above, a strong rebound from this territory. But at the moment, like I said, the price is currently on the cash index is still floating slightly above this 12,728 zone. If it gets broken, then consider a possible move towards the lower side of the rising channel here. Jumping into another index, and that's DXY, the dollar index. And here, after you see that this is exactly what I was talking about on Monday, guys, when we were still kind of hanging around here, just bang on that line, on that downside line, and slightly below that 93.90 level. I said to you guys that we need to see a nice good strong move above this area in order to aim for some higher levels, but that never happened. Instead, the downside line did its trick again and sent helped the bears to jump in here and drive this one lower. Now, what I was saying to you guys previously, that in a way, if we get a drop below this 93 territory, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for more sellers, and we could see a potential move here towards this key support zone near the 92.71. Let me just double check. No, it's 92.24 zone right here, and then we'll take it from there, guys. Again, like I said, with the upside, still the same game plan remains. Now, of course, the weaker dollar is helping here gold and the commodity sector. So yes, the commodity here, the precious metal, is making its way higher. It's now getting close to this downside line taken from the high of the 18th of August, and as I mentioned to you this week, that as long as it stays in between these two lines, this short-term upside line and this downside line will remain neutral, because in order to consider at least the next short-term directional move, we would prefer to wait for a break of this downside line and then a push above the 1933 territory right here, marked by the high of the 12th of October, which is, by the way, the current highest point of October. So a nice good pop above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high, yep, and potentially open the door towards that psychological 2000 territory or even above that. In terms of the downside, even if this short-term upside line breaks, I would still prefer to see a drop below the 1877 territory right here in order to get a little bit more excited with the downside. Similar story here is on WTI Oil. Weaker dollar is helping this commodity to make its way higher, and look at this move yesterday. Now, this is what I talked about when I said wait for that confirmation daily close as well. I mean, we needed that break. Yes, that was one part of the game, and we got the break, but as you can see, the daily close never happened above that 41.46 territory. So today we're seeing another break above it, but again, the price is getting pushed back below this. So wait for that now at this point in time, because we already had these a few of these false breakouts. Wait for a daily close above this 41.46 territory, and then get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, because again, the moment we can see that the bulls are struggling to keep the price above that area, so that's why this kind of makes this area a bit more exciting to watch, and makes it a bit more interesting and more important. So like I said, for now, wait for that confirmation daily close above this 41.46, and then yes, we could consider some higher levels. Now, jumping into Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin is popping nicely to the upside. Look at this beautiful move here. I mean, initially when I talked about last week, when I talked about this potential idea of seeing a bit of a correction here to the downside, testing this area near the 11,185 and then rebounding and make its way higher, this so far basically this is working out perfectly. So quite happy with this result here, and now my next target is this 12,490 zone. We'll see if it can reach that. That's the highest point of August, but also just in case, keep your eyes on this little high here, the high of the 18th of August near the 12,405 zone, roughly around here, guys, because in a way it could travel a little bit higher, fail to reach the highest point of August, and then kind of, or maybe even actually it would be enough for it to test this little territory and then reverse, go down for a bit of a correction. But at the moment everything's looking quite positive here on Bitcoin, so if you're all in this, then well, probably you're enjoying it right now. But again, guys, don't try to chase this, be very careful. Probably if you missed this move here, wait for a correction first. I know it might take a while, but again, probably just like I said, either or have a very tight stop loss just in case it suddenly reverses back down here. So yeah, be very careful on this one. For now, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this 12,400 zone, maybe just slightly above it, and then yes, we'll take it from there. We'll see if it actually can move further north. But at the moment, also for you guys to consider something here, and let me just quickly recycle this highlighted area. I'm gonna mark this one very quickly right here. So that's the little area, resistance area, that I'm going to be keeping an eye on right now. And basically, if it finds good resistance here and then starts correcting lower, overall we will be getting ourselves a nice ascending triangle, which could pop later on maybe. But at the moment, again, that's just an idea for you guys. Maybe it's not going to even form this ascending triangle. Maybe it'll just continue rallying here above this highlighted area, and that's it. So at the moment, like I said, let's see how it's going to play out. But again, be very careful near that 12,400 zone. AUDCHF. Now here the pair is rebounding. So if you watched my Traders Tea Time yesterday, this is exactly what I was talking about. That was what I was saying, that if this 0.6371 territory right here provides good support, then we could see something like this, a bit of a rebound, and this is exactly what's happening right now. So we are seeing that rebound. Now the big question here is, can it actually overcome this, get back above the 0.6425 zone? If it cannot, then this scenario here could work out nicely. So for now, I'm keeping this on the chart. At the moment, half of it's working out. So let's see if the other half will work out as well. So again, the moment, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this one. It's working nicely according to the plan that I talked about yesterday in my yesterday's Traders Tea Time. So yeah, let's see how all this is going to play out. If it travels further north, this little territory right here will be a bit of a neutral one, because again, it's going to be very tricky. It could find resistance somewhere here and then drift lower again, or actually it could continue moving back up here towards that short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 2nd of September. But again, for that, in order to consider that move, I would need to see at least a push above the 0.6493 level first. USD CAD. Now here the pair is quite interesting. We do have some data coming out today, guys, from Canada, so keep your eyes on that one, and it could be quite interesting. I mean, because we do have the CPI figures from Canada at the moment. The expectations for the headline year-on-year CPI figure is for it to have risen from 0.1% to 0.4. The core CPI, well, actually for the core, we can see that there's no forecast at the moment, but for the month-on-month figure, the headline CPI month-on-month figure, it is expected that it remained at minus 0.1%. So in other words, if we get better data than the forecasts, then yes, this could strengthen the Canadian dollar, and we could see USD CAD drifting further south, especially with the fact that right now DXY is on a bit of a decline. So that's why USD CAD might continue drifting further south. You can see that right now we're breaking that kind of key support zone near the 1.31 zone, and right now basically if it stays here, if I see this daily candle remaining below this 1.31 territory, my next target is the lowest point of September near the 1.2995 level, or in other words near that psychological 130 zone. GBP USD here. So again, not that the pound is on the stronger side, it's mainly kind of the weakness of the dollar that is helping GBP USD to make its way a little bit to the upside. It still remains below that psychological 130 zone, so in a way, as I mentioned to you guys previously, the same game plan remains. I need to see at least a kind of a better move here above this psychological 130 zone, and then I could consider a further move higher, slightly higher of course, because we still have some obstacles here on the way. But again, that's going to be one of those areas to keep in mind here, to consider, to keep an eye on this 1.30 zone. So let's see if the pair can actually climb back above it. And finally, EURUSD. So look at this beautiful move here. Finally, we are getting that nice good break above that 1.1831 zone. Yesterday we got that break, but as you can see, the daily candle remained below it. So in a way, it kind of raised a bit of concerns, of course, but no concerns this morning. The bulls are comfortably pushing this pair above that 1.1831 level that I mentioned to you, and now what I'm going to be targeting here is this 1.1917 level. I've talked about this level here, that's the high of the 10th of September, and then I'll take it from there, because if the pair struggles to overcome it, then maybe a bit of a correction could be possible. But at the moment, to be honest, like I said, the fact that it's trading currently above the 1.1831 zone, that's great, that's positive news. If it remains above that area, then yes, my next target is the 1.1917 zone. If it doesn't, if it somehow slides back below this 1.1831, then we're back into neutral territory, because still I'll keep the downside scenario from this 1.1696 territory right here. So guys, I really hope you found it useful. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found it, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to catch my video later on, my trader's tea time, as always, 13:15 GMT time. For now, guys, I hope you have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, be very careful, and have your stop losses in place. And I'll see you later at my trader's tea time, 13:15 GMT. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.